So I'm Hideki Garren. I'm the Chief Medical Officer at Prothena Biosciences, and we recently published an article about the mechanism of action of Birtamimab. And in the article, we talk about the pathophysiology of AL amyloidosis, as well as the mechanism of action of Birtamimab and how that relates to the pathophysiology of AL amyloidosis. So what's key in the pathophysiology of AL is that there is a plasma cell dyscrasia. In other words, the plasma cells are producing light chains, and these light chains form a soluble aggregates, which can be toxic, as well as fibrils, which can deposit into organs, such as heart and kidneys. And this organ damage is what causes the mortality in these patients with AL amyloidosis. So it's really those two pieces of the mechanism that are key, preceded by the production of light chain, then followed by these aggregates, toxic aggregates, then followed by the organ deposition. So AL amyloidosis is a rare disease, and typically what happens is that patients will present to either cardiologists or hematologists with these abnormalities, and it can be a difficult to diagnose a disease. But once they get to a hematologist, the hematologist will do various blood tests as well as cardiac tests and biopsy even to really make that diagnosis. But it is a rare disease. There can be a delay, and oftentimes patients will present with a variety of symptoms that are non-specific. But once they get to a cardiologist and hematologist, it's fairly straightforward in terms of looking for cardiac symptoms or renal symptoms, and then making that final diagnosis. And what's unique about Birtamimab is that Birtamimab targets the toxic light chain aggregates, as well as the deposited amyloid in the end organs. And so, unlike the available therapies, which target the plasma cell dyscrasia, in other words, they target and reduce the production of abnormal light chains, Birtamimab is complementary in that, in addition to that, it reduces the toxic aggregates as well as the amyloid that's deposited in the end organs. And so what's described in the article is really a few key points of Birtamimab mechanism of action. One is that, as I already mentioned, it neutralizes toxic amyloid aggregates, as well as the clearance of insoluble amyloid in the end organs. The half-life is about 2 weeks, and therefore this allows once-a-month dosing, which is convenient for patients, of course. And that it selectively binds a cryptic epitope on abnormal amyloid. And why that's important is that the normal light chains are not affected. And so the humans can therefore target and produce normal light chains to fight infections and do its normal function. Birtamimab only targets this cryptic epitope, which is exposed in abnormal amyloid. And so that's how we maintain that balance of normal function and reducing the pathophysiology of AL amyloidosis. Finally, we've shown preclinically that the amyloid can be depleted very quickly in less than 21 days. And so that has important implications for the potential clinical utility of Birtamimab, in that we can reduce the amount of toxic amyloid that's present in the circulation, as well as reduce the amount of amyloid that's deposited in organs, and potentially reduce that pathophysiology very quickly for patients. And that was seen really in our VITAL study that we published last year in Blood, where we showed that in that phase 3b study in the post-hoc analysis, that there was a reduction in the mortality by about 59% with the p-value 0.02. And that was a post-hoc analysis, and that's why we're doing the confirmatory study, which is called AFFIRM. We are recruiting patients at the moment. We have a target enrollment of 220 patients that we want to enroll. Patients we are recruiting are AL amyloidosis patients of advanced cardiac involvement And the criteria we're using is what's called Mayo Stage 4. It's a 2012 Mayo Stage 4 criteria that we use to screen for patients. And in other words, that defines the most advanced clinical cardiac involvement of these patients. And those are the ones that have the most unmet medical need. Again, what's unique about Birtamimab is that we have shown in our phase 3 trial VITAL that was published last year in Blood that we have a reduction in the risk of mortality. And the treatments that are available for AL today have not shown that. And again, this is because we have a complementary mechanism of action, which we can combine with the available therapies. So our AFFIRM study that uses Birtamimab on top of standard of care. And so it's complementary to what's available, and that because of our demonstrated reduction on a post-hoc analysis of reduction in mortality, we hopefully will be able to get this to patients as soon as possible.